The dead knelt outside Hollowmere, not one, not hundreds, thousands. Across the frozen valley, every frost shade lowered its head into the ash snow. Their pale eyes did not look at the broken moon anymore. They looked toward the medical wing, toward the newborn wrapped in Marin's arms, Liora, the first child born after the black frost, the child who had looked at me and said I was not the owner of the Gravecell. I was the door. No one in the room moved. Even the alarms seemed quieter now. Marin held the baby close, but her face had gone pale. Astra Vane stood by the window, saber drawn, watching the kneeling dead. Liora still guarded the doorway with a bloodied shovel. Soren sat on the floor, one hand pressed against the wound in his side. And from every speaker in Hollowmere, the First Warden laughed. "Protect her if you can, Second Warden." The speakers died. The room returned to the sound of Liora crying. A normal cry, small, angry, alive. That made it worse. Monsters were easier to defend against than hope. Marin looked at me. "Riven, no one touches the child without your permission. Not even you." I looked at Liora. The black key on my wrist pulsed once, especially not me. Astra turned from the window. The dead are waiting. For what? For someone to tell them whether she is holy or food. I walked to the glass. Below the mountain, the kneeling corpses did not move. The broken moon watched them. The First Warden waited beneath us. And in Marin's arms, Liora stopped crying. For one impossible second, the frost on the walls melted. Warm water ran down the stone, then froze again. Astra whispered, "She can make warmth." "No," Marin said. "She can remember it." That sentence stayed with me, warmth as memory. The Gravecell preserved matter. The choir stole voices. The moon leaked cold. And Liora remembered warmth from a world that had not yet survived long enough to give it to her. That night, Hollowmere became a fortress inside a fortress. The medical wing was sealed behind 3 gates. Every vent was blocked. Every guard was checked twice. No one entered with hidden metal, hidden frost, or hidden prayers. I did not trust fear. I trusted systems. By dawn, the dead were still kneeling. The survivors were not. They gathered in the main hall, whispering around the carved rules. Some called Liora a miracle. Some called her a curse. One old man said the child should be given to the moon before the dead rose again. I heard him from the balcony. The hall went silent before I spoke. "Bring him forward." 2 guards dragged him into the open. He trembled, but did not apologize. "My grandson died yesterday," he said. "That baby cried once, and the dead came. How many more will die because of her?" He was afraid. Afraid. People are dangerous because they think fear excuses anything. I descended the stairs. The crowd parted. I stopped in front of him. "You want to sacrifice a newborn?" His mouth shook. "I want to save everyone else." "No," I said. "You want to buy one more day with someone else's blood." He looked away. I turned to the hall. "Listen carefully. Liora stays under Hollowmere protection. Anyone who tries to harm her will be exiled. Anyone who hands her to the moon will be buried alive beneath the gate. No one breathed. I leaned closer. I did not build this place to feed children to the sky. For the first time, the survivors did not just fear me. They understood the line. That mattered. An hour later, the First Warden sent his first gift. A door appeared in the main hall. It was not built, it was simply there. Black iron, small. Like the door of the shelter where I died, no one touched it smart. The symbols across its surface moved like insects. Meren arrived with Liora in a sealed, thermal cradle. Astra came with 2 Lake Hall guards. Illyra and Soren stood behind them. Soren was still wounded, but standing. I looked at him. "You should be in bed." He gave a weak smile. "I keep making bad choices near doors." That almost sounded like honesty. The black door opened. A voice came from inside, not loud, not angry, almost kind. "Second Warden, bring the child below, and I will show you how to save everyone." I stepped closer. "Say what you want where my people can hear it." The First Warden chuckled. "Very well." The air above the door shimmered. A vision unfolded. Hollowmere, Lake Hall, the frozen city. Then beyond them, dozens of shelters hidden in mountains, sewers, towers, bunkers, subway stations, churches, and buried ships, all warm, all surrounded. The broken moon cracked wider. White light poured from it. Where the light touched, people did not freeze. They vanished, not killed, taken. Their mouths opened, their bodies emptied. Their voices rose into the sky like steam. The vision shifted. Inside the moon, something enormous moved behind the shell, a prisoner made of hunger and memory. The First Warden said, "The moon is a prison. The black frost is leakage. When the prisoner wakes, it eats names first, then voices, then bodies." Meren whispered, "Names again." "Yes," he said. "A name is the door between a life and the world. Lose it, and the body becomes an empty room." I stared at the vision. "What is the Gravecell?" The answer came softly. The prison beneath the prison. A network of doors built by the first survivors. It was made to store food, fire, medicine, memory, and finally, if necessary, mankind itself. Crystal cells appeared in the vision. The sleeping city beneath Hollowmere, the preserved bodies, the whispering mouths. Astra's voice was sharp. "You call that saving mankind? I call it surviving a cycle you have not yet seen." The First Warden showed us another image. The surface after the moon opened. No cities, no shelters, no snow, only smooth white ground under a silver sky, and millions of voices crying from nowhere. "If the child remains outside the vault," he said, "the prisoner will follow her warmth. It will crack the moon faster. It will come here first." Meren's hand tightened on the cradle. "What is she?" A contradiction. The door's voice lowered. "A life born after the world began dying. A warmth the prison did not authorize. The moon wants to consume her. I want to preserve her." I laughed once. "Preserve? You prefer kill?" "I prefer live." "Live where? Behind your walls? Behind guns? Behind hope?" The door whispered. "Hope spoils faster than food." I looked at the cradle. Liora slept with one tiny hand curled against the glass. No. The vision vanished. The door remained. The First Warden sighed. You reject wisdom because it wears the face of cruelty, and you hide cruelty under the word wisdom. For a moment there was silence. Then the door said, "Ask the traitor." Every eye turned. Soren went still. The black door opened wider. Inside was darkness. Then a memory appeared. Soren in my first life, not inside my shelter. Before that, 3 days before the Black Frost, he stood in the old bunker control room with Liora. My blueprints lay across the table. Liora was crying. Soren held her shoulders. "He'll never survive leading us," Soren said. "He built it, yes, but Riven is weak, too soft. He'll open the door for every beggar, then we'll all die." Liora whispered, "So what do we do?" Soren looked at the door controls. "We protect the shelter from him." The vision ended. The hall became deathly quiet. Soren's face was grey. Liora covered her mouth. I said nothing. That was the worst punishment. Soren took one step toward me. "Riven," the black door whispered. "He betrayed you because he believed mercy would destroy the shelter. How different are you now?" Soren shook his head. "Don't listen to him." The door's voice became gentle. "I am listening to you, Soren. You were almost right." Soren froze. A thin black chain slipped from the door. No one saw it until it touched his shadow. I moved. Too late. The chain sank into the floor and rose through Soren's body like smoke. His back arched. Liora screamed. Maren raised her rifle. "Do not shoot!" I shouted. Soren's eyes turned black, then silver, then normal. He fell to one knee, gasping. The door closed. The First Warden's voice faded. 3 days, Second Warden. Then I ascend with or without your permission. The iron door vanished. Soren collapsed. Liora ran to him. I caught her arm. "Stop. He's hurt. He is occupied." Soren lifted his head. His voice came out broken. "I'm still me." I crouched in front of him. "Prove it." He laughed weakly. "I'm terrified, useless, and I still hate when you look at me like that." That sounded like Soren, but something behind his eyes moved. A second listener. Maren scanned him for frost, fever, pulse distortion. Nothing. Astra drew her saber. "We should kill him now." Liora flinched. Soren did not. He looked at the blade. Maybe. That made me more suspicious than pleading would have. I stood. "No." Astra turned to me. "You will risk everyone for him. I will use everyone carefully." Soren smiled without humor. "There he is." I looked down at him. "The First Warden touched you for a reason. Until I know why, you live under guard. And if he takes over, then you will wish Astra killed you." He nodded. "Fair." That evening, Hollowmere prepared for descent. Not because I trusted the First Warden, because he was no longer waiting. He had reached through a door in my own hall. He had touched Soren's shadow. He had shown every survivor a truth painful enough to divide them. A siege could be fought with walls. This was different. This was infection. Marin found me outside the nursery gate. Liora slept beyond 3 layers of glass. The room around her was warm without heaters. Nara, her mother, was still unconscious but alive. Marin leaned beside me. "You are thinking about storing the child." I did not answer. That is an answer. The Gravecell cannot store living beings. His can. Yes. And you are wondering if yours can evolve. I looked at the black key. I am wondering why part of me wants it to. Marin's expression softened. Because you are afraid. I am not afraid of the moon. No. You are afraid of failing someone innocent. I watched Liora sleep. In my first life, failure had a door, a window, a cup of tea. Now failure had silver eyes and tiny hands. Marin said, "Do not let fear turn protection into possession." That sounds like something Astra would say. I am smarter than Astra. She has a saber. I have scalpels and access to your medical records. Terrifying. For the first time that day, Marin smiled. Then the nursery window frosted over from the inside. Words appeared on the glass. Not written by a hand, formed by warmth, leaving the room. The door dreams of being opened. Liora did not wake. Marin's smile vanished. Below Hollowmere, something struck the buried gate. Once, twice, 3 times. The entire shelter shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. The countdown on every monitor changed. 48 hours. Then 47. Then 46. It was speeding up. In the labor barracks, Soren screamed. We found him chained to a chair, guards aiming rifles at his chest. Black frost crawled across his veins. His eyes were open, but he was looking at something none of us could see. "He's moving," Soren rasped. "Who?" "The First Warden." His voice split on the name, part Soren, part something older. "He is not climbing out." Soren's head snapped toward me. "He is climbing through." The black key on my wrist opened painfully. Every door in Hollowmere unlocked at once. Bedroom doors, Stottdord doors, medical doors, armory doors, even doors welded shut years ago. All opening, all inviting. The First Warden's voice whispered through Soren's mouth. "A kingdom is only a hallway with enough doors." Then Soren's body went limp. From the nursery, Liora began to cry. From the valley, the kneeling dead stood. From Lake Hall, the emergency radio screamed. The radio spat Astra's name. "Keeper Vine." Lake Hall doors are opening. The lower floodgates, the old prayer rooms, even the sealed morgue. People are hearing voices from under the ice. Astra seized the radio. "Bar the lower levels. Move everyone to the furnace chamber. They say their families are calling them. Then gag anyone who answers." Her voice did not shake, but her hand did. For the first time, Astra looked exactly like what she was. Not a queen. A woman holding too many lives with 2 hands. She turned to me. "I have to go back. If you leave now, he divides us. My people are under attack. So are mine." That is not an answer. "No," I said. "It is the trap." The radio hissed again. Behind the static came another sound. Lake Hall children singing. Not a song they knew, A lullaby from the Black City under Hollowmere. Astra's face changed. The First Warden was not attacking shelters one by one. He was opening every door connected to warmth. Hollowmere, Lake Hall, the city. Maybe every shelter still alive under the black frost. I looked toward the nursery. Liora had stopped crying. On the glass around her room, new words appeared. The First Warden does not need an army. He needs an invitation. Marin whispered. The voices are the invitation. I understood. Every grieving survivor who answered a dead loved one. Every frightened guard who opened a locked room. Every traitor who wanted forgiveness. Every king who wanted control. Those were doors too, and the First Warden had learned how to knock. And deep beneath Hollowmere, the tomb gate opened 1 inch. A cold wind rose from below. It carried voices. Not dead voices, stored voices. Thousands of them. Begging for release, begging for bodies, begging for me. Astra stared toward the stairwell. Marin loaded her rifle. Liora knelt beside Soren, shaking. I looked at every open door in my shelter. Every entrance, every weakness, every choice. In my first life, I died because 1 door stayed closed. In this life, I might lose everything because all of them opened at once. I drew my blade. The Gravecell opened behind me. Not like storage, like a mouth. The First Warden had made his move. Now I would descend into his tomb again. Not to ask questions, not to make deals, but to remind the thing beneath my mountain that Hollowmere already had a master, and I had no intention of sharing the key.